Melanie, not everyone is muted.
Yeah, if you all would mute yourself, that would be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to start with just a few items here. Thank you for being on the call, you guys. It's Melanie and Austin, and we will be sharing this on Facebook. That's just the only reason I'm saying that, in case anyone forgot. You know, we do have some guests from other cities with us today. I am so excited, you guys, and I shared those of you that were early on the call with me. We get an interview, and we're going to learn from one of my favorite people in the industry that's been a huge influence to me, more than he believes. I have real love for this person, and when I thought, who could I have as our guest today? Who of all the people in Keller Williams could I have? I'm like, you know, it'd be really amazing if we had Gene Rivers. And so I reached out to Gene. I said, is there any way you're available? And he's like, when and where? And I told him, and he said, okay, it works. So I'm just so grateful. I know a lot of you have been in his training. He has been through everything you can think of and always has the best attitude. He's one of the smartest guys I know. So most of the time today, it's just going to be the interview with Gene. Before we get to that, I just want to have a couple updates for you guys. First of all, welcome. And you'll notice the Easter colors. You know, it's the time of rebirth. And as we're all finding our new normal at home, just take time to celebrate yourself, find time for you, do what you love. I know a lot of you saw that I got brave and posted one of my songs again on Sunday. What are your hobbies? How are you filling your bucket? Because as you're isolated, it's more important than ever that you're taking care of yourself. So I just want to remind you all on that. A lot of you saw this. I posted this yesterday too. Redfin is furloughing 41% of its real estate agents and laying off 7% of its staff. You're hearing about other companies like Compass. They've already laid off 15 to 20% of their staff, and they're about to lay off another. This is what's happening in our industry right now, right? You're hearing a lot of negativity, a lot of unknowns out there. And so we are so in the right place at Keller Williams because we have so many tools that you can have these conversations with people about how you can help them. And here's the thing, when you take a risk and you bet on yourself, guys, you are the best thing you could bet on. So being your own independent contractor with Keller Williams and using all the tools is pretty exciting. So make sure you're sharing some of this positive stuff. I just want to share a couple. Casey, I know you're on the call. Casey posted yesterday, Win contracted a $560,000 home tonight and wrote an offer on a $460 lot yesterday. We got this, KW. And then Michael Coleman posted, hey everyone, I know we have to stay safe and figure it out, but I have a house under contract and the first lender appraisal came in at 60K under. Second lender just received the appraisal and they met value. We're set to close Friday. We can do this safely. We can do this professionally. There's so much good information out there, guys. Real estate is still happening. However, you're going to see as the numbers go down, and I was on a call yesterday with one of our MAPS coaches, and he was sharing about, you know, really if the market goes down 50%, and this is what Gene, we'll talk about that a little more, but when I interviewed Tim Heil, if you all have not watched that video, we've sent it out to everybody. You know, he threw away his business plan for 2020 because he said, you know what, I'm going to rip up that piece of paper because what I was planning on and what I was banking on for 2020, that market's not happening anymore right now. So that's not valid anymore. And so I think you go back and you take a look. Please mute yourself if you're not muted right now, guys. It'll just keep it really clean. But what are you doing then? What's going to be your business plan for the next 90 days? So if you take your 135 or your GPS, and we'll do another session on this, but let's break that down and let's take that for a right now for the next 30, 60, 90 days. What do I have to do? If the whole market is down 50%, it could even be down higher. We could even see a 75%. I mean, if they shut us down because the virus gets out of control and we don't behave the right way and we don't do things virtually, it could even get worse, right? So what are you going to do to make sure you stay ahead? And one of your resources I want to make sure you know about, please mute yourself, guys. I'm going to mute everybody. Let's see. How do I mute everybody? I'll get back to that in a sec. So, Pivot Shift Ahead is a great resource for you guys on Facebook. And that is every day. And Gene, I don't know if you're in there often, but there's so much information in there and videos and just tips on how you can thrive in the market. Again, it's open to everybody because coming from contribution, Keller Williams always has so much more behind it. A lot of companies say, oh, we've opened up our education and all these things. It's not the same. You go into those other.
Can you put the 2 Easter baskets
I gotta figure
separate?
out how to mute everybody.
Just the 2 Easter baskets and everything else on
Okay, no
another
Easter
one.
baskets. Hold on. How do I mute everyone?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, whoever's talking about Easter baskets. Let me see. Hold on. Anybody know how I mute everybody? Let's see, who is not muted? I'm just gonna go through this really quickly and mute that person. Gone, okay. Awesome, sorry about that, guys. It is so much easier now. Let's go back to the screen here. Okay, so pivot, shift ahead, great tips. You can invite anybody you want, but again, there's so much here for you to keep focused on what really matters. And I'm really excited about Bold Pivot that just launched. We were already doing Bold in the Northwest Market Center where I'm the operating partner. We were going to be starting that already. And then all of this happened. So then we shifted to Bold Pivot. Well, we maxed out and I could not get you guys in there. Do you remember I said, gosh, I'm trying to get you into Bold Pivot. And you're all texting me, how do I get in? And I kept texting the coach, like, please, can we get some of our Southwest people in there? Well, they made a big pivot and they've opened it up to a much larger scale. And that means everybody can sign up. And I don't know if they're going to limit it at some point or not, but here's the deal. It's 4 weeks. It starts May 5th. It's $99. Everything's virtual, so you'll get everything digitally sent to you. It will be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 3. And then then there'll be times with the coaches Wednesdays and Fridays. Bold Pivot is all about mindset, reaching out to your clients today with scripts that you need right now. Guys, more than anything, you need the mindset and the focus tool to get you through this. You're kidding yourself if you think you don't need that. I've already had so many of our most successful people signing up their whole teams. This is something for you. If the money's an issue, talk to me, but do not let this be the reason you don't do this, guys. This is what's going to help get you through. So Bold Pivot, where you find that, I've posted on the forum. I've got it on the page of our SWMC, which is right here. So if you're not using this resource, you need to have this as your #1 resource. This is the way we communicate to you virtually. This is the way we bring you all that noise you're hearing from Keller Williams, KW Connect, everything. Plus our training that we're doing here locally for you is the KWSWMC Online. It's listed right here, kwmconline.com. Sorry, it's KWSWMC Online. It cut off on the visual.com. That's going to give you all the upcoming classes that we're doing, like broker classes and all the things we're doing, like the live stream today. That's your all-in-one shop. So please make a note, kwswmconline.com. We'll write it on the notes on the side. Okay, also, if you have not yet used the consumer app, guys, it's awesome. You need to get in there. I know Tim Heil was on our interview, we were joking about it because he was visiting Gary, and Gary said, hey, did you download the consumer app? And he's like, oh, the consumer app's out? You guys have been so busy, you're missing out on really critical information. These are land grabs for you. So the consumer app is something that you can be, sending out to everybody you know right now. And there's actually a smart plan in Command where it sends a text and email to all your database if you set them up on it with your branded link to you. And the whole point is you say, you know what, I would love your feedback on this. Let me know what you think about it. And why you want to have that is you control what they see. So like this listing here, by the way, most competitors can only cover Austin, maybe all of Texas. The KW Consumer app covers all of the United States. So my dad lives in Los Angeles, and I pulled this up, and this is his next door neighbor, and I texted it to him. I said, hey, Dad, your next door neighbor's for sale, I see, and I've always wanted to see what that house looked like. So I got to look through all the photos, and he's like, yeah, you should buy and move in. Well, now when your clients are looking on your consumer app and you have them in Command, you get to see what they're looking at. It's a much higher level of just previewing the minds of your consumer. So if you have not done that, that should be your #1 action plan for this week. To take it to a higher level, we just heard out last night, another update was done for Command and for our consumer app. And now what they're doing is, if you've not yet did a campaign through, which is the Facebook site, the Facebook posting through command, which gives you more bang for your buck, right? When you do a $1 spend, when you run it through Keller Williams, it's like spending $5 because they view Keller Williams as one account at Facebook. So if you want more leads, this is the time to double down. And it's great for listings, my consumer app, whatever is going to get you clicks, right? But if you've never done a campaign through command, right now, when you log into that, it's going to tell you you have a $25 credit when you spend $75 of advertising. That's brand new. So I went in mine. I don't have it because I run campaigns. This is a great time for you guys to do that. And if you need help, Blake teaches that in our open house class, and on kwswnconline.com, we've got all the links on how to do all this stuff, okay? This is a way for you to control your lead flow, and you have a $25 credit waiting for you if you've never used campaigns before. And speaking of other conversations you can be having right now with your clients, if you go to that homepage at kwconnect.com and you go to the KW Connect homepage, you'll see pivot at the top. When you scroll down, you see this information where it says your clients are looking for ways to save money too. You have the tools and you click on that, and that's going to open you up to scripts for calling, text, and everything on how you can be saving your clients money now in this tumultuous time with homeowners insurance, up to 30% off. I mean, we had an agent last week saved $191 because he did another bid on his homeowner's insurance, or get it refinanced. All right, I'm going to mute. Okay, so I just want you to know your resources, guys. There's so much in there for you. And now I'm going to jump back out of screen sharing, and I'm going to feature the beautiful man of the hour. Let's pin him up. Yes, are you camera ready?
I don't know, baby. I am what I am.
You are what you are. The man, the legend. Gene Rivers, my dear. I respect you so much.
Melanie. Woo!
Woo, woo, woo. Virtual high 10. So we talked, you gave me this whole list of things we could talk about. And the things that really stuck out to me were, virtual selling and building your pipeline and any other thing you want to add to that. So I want you to just start taking it away. Tell us a little bit about who you are, because we do have a lot of people on the call that may not know you, shockingly. But give a little bit history, and then talk about what advice you have for our agents to what they can do right now.
Okay. Thanks, Melanie. And it's very sweet what you said. This is my wife and I are starting our 32nd year in real estate. We've been in the business together from the very beginning. We quit our careers, went into real estate. We had 2 kids at the time. If we weren't making money in 90 days, we were going to have to go back to work for the man, and we didn't want to do that. So we made it work. We ended up losing everything, though, in Hurricane Andrew, because we were in Miami at the time, and 4 years into real estate, we were doing really well. We had a 2-level home by the ocean. We had 2 cars. In 36 hours, the home was destroyed. 1 car was destroyed. The listings we had were withdrawn or destroyed. The pendings were destroyed. The real estate company, the physical office we worked out of, was in an office complex, and that whole complex was destroyed. So in 36 hours, it was over. So you think this is tough.
Right.
You don't know tough.
Yeah.
So like most agents, we lived and worked in the same area. So we literally we had no home. We only had 1 car. We had no income at all coming in, and no future income on the radar. We couldn't see it. You couldn't even drive down streets because all the streets were covered with debris. And it took 2.5 months to get power restored back. So it was just a nightmare. We relocated up to Tallahassee, started up in a new community. We were living in a garage. And again, we had 2 kids at the time. And our mindset, this is an issue right now, mindset was, I don't care what's going on. I don't care that we're new. I don't care that we're in a different market. I want to hit it, and hit it really hard. And our goal was to get a new home the first year and to be in the top 10 at the Board of Realtors. Now, Tallahassee's small, and at the time they had 1,100 agents. but we wanted to make the top 10. And we bought the new home in July, and at the end of the year, we were number 9 in the board, and by the second year, we finished number 1 in the board. So I understand what it's like to start from nowhere, and also understand what it's like to be doing well and then get kicked in your teeth, because we got hit in the dot-com bust, the collapse in 99, 2000, and then of course 9/11, and then of course the downturn again with 07, 08, 09. I mean, I've been through this. This up and down is actually very normal to me. And Gary, of course, has been saying to all of us for like 5 years, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, because statistically, if you look at 100 years of history, literally, you see that these come in waves. Now, this is actually one of those. We had the great flu epidemic in 1911. We had another one in 1918. I actually went back and looked at epidemics and to see what happens to the economies with epidemics. And I ended up reading a paper that really made it pretty clear. Most of the epidemics have a 7-month life cycle, 7 months, and business recovery is normally 2 to 4 months for every month of the pandemic. So in China, I mean, if you look at China, it started in November, December in China, in the Hunan province. And today, while we're speaking, they're removing all the barricades. They're taking down all the hospitals. It's not normal yet, but they are much more normal than they were. And this month makes 5 or 6 months they've been in that situation, which means it's going to be 1 to 2 years before that Hunan province is back economically where it was, or some semblance of where it was. So I think we've got kind of the same thing going on here. It could be off a few months one way or another, but we're literally riding out these 2 waves. And I think the thinking you have to have is that there's 2 ways. Until the virus has moved through us, through our country, and through your local community, there is no worrying about the recession. I mean, there's nothing to worry about. It's worry about surviving the flow of the epidemic. And I mean that from the disease itself, but I also mean that in terms of doing business while we're still in COVID-19. And the fact is, you absolutely can do business in the middle of this. There are parts of the country right now that the agents are on a shutdown. Showings are not allowed. Open houses are not allowed. You're not allowed to be out. And they're still taking listings, and they're still selling houses, and they're closing on houses that people have actually never walked into until they owned them. And if you think it can't be done, then your own worst, your thinking is going to be your biggest problem.
Yeah.
So I heard what you said about a 30, 60, 90. And I heard what you said about Tim saying, throw out the vision, the business plan. I think that's absolutely true. Whatever business plan you did for 2020, you just get rid of that thing. It's irrelevant now. And I mean that, it's irrelevant. What my thinking is, though, right now is we've got, and I'm saying this kind of categorically, but it depends on where you are and where the virus is in terms of its rise and fall in your local community. But we've got 1 to 2 months, end of April, end of May, where I think nationally we're going to see new cases start to recede. And if that starts to happen, then you're going to have a different thinking about what you need to do. But for the next 2 months, maybe 3 months, Melanie, I think the issue is very simple. I think you need to look at your pipeline and you need to close out your pipeline. Literally close it out, meaning who's in there. All of you should have people in there that last fall they told you, no, we're not going to do anything until next spring, maybe March or April, maybe around Easter, and you put them in your pipeline and you tagged them and you've been dripping them and you reached out in January and February, you started to tee them up, and then in March, this all hit the fan, and some of them are going to back out, some of them are going to go forward, and some of them, and most of them are unsure. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to think, and they don't know what to do.
They're a little frozen,
So every day, every morning, our people are on the phone with their A's and their B's, meaning who is supposed to be buying or selling in April, because now we're in April, and who is supposed to be buying or selling in May, and we're getting on the phone and we're either tying them down or we're gonna, move them and park them at a later date. And that's driven by what they tell us. We're gonna wait. This is what we're getting now from a lot of our clients is we're gonna wait till the virus passes. Once they open up the restaurants and the stores, then we'll talk about maybe going forward, but we're gonna have to just wait and see. But right now, we just wanna hunker down, stay off the streets. We don't wanna do anything. We're getting a lot of that, which means if you look forward, we're gonna have business in September, October, November that would have been April, May, June business. And now it's shoving forward. It's shoving forward. People buy homes usually for life events. They're centered around realities. You're having your third child, you have a 3-bedroom house, you need a bigger house. The kids have gotten bigger. We have all these toys. We can only park one car in the garage. We need a bigger house. My kid needs to be in a different school zone, yada, yada, yada. These things, these life events have happened to people, which made them consider this being the year to move, and those haven't changed. So in my mind, a lot of our pipelines, it's not if they're going to buy, it's not that they're not going to buy now, they're going to buy. The question is when. It was going to be in April, May, June. Now the question is how much further. So you need to close out your pipeline and start building a new pipeline, because the people now you're going to be parking again in August, September, October, November, and you need to fill that up. And you got to really think about this. If you don't do that, if you don't spend 1 to 2 hours a day, every day, closing out your A's and B's for April, May, and maybe June, and then building or moving people into a new pipeline for the second half of the year, while we're sitting here on a Zoom call, they're sitting at home and they're on the internet looking at real estate.
Right.
And you got to understand that. And you all know this. And there are people online waiting for them. There are people that have traps set to grab their contact info. And then either that person or another entity will buy that lead from them and they will convert your lead. And because you didn't talk to them, they're now owned by somebody else who's going to do the deal in August or September.
Right.
That risk is really high right now. If you think the people at Zillow aren't looking at the traffic count going up, 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 and setting more and more traps right now, the business opportunity for anybody that does internet lead gen is higher right now than it's ever been. And if you're not going to play that game, I love what you said about launching campaigns through Facebook, whether it's Google or Facebook or YouTube. Everybody's online. If they're thinking about buying or selling anytime in the next 6 months, they got nothing to do. They're nosing around about it. And if you're not out there grabbing them yourself and calling them on the phone, you're at risk.
That's right.
And when Gary has said forever that this is the time you take market share, the top agents often aren't not only not afraid of downturns, they actually like downturns because that's when you take market share. When any idiot can sell a house, it's hard to take market share.
That's
But
true.
when things get tough, that's when the top agents grab business away from other agents. And that's really what you need to be thinking about right now. So in terms of what we're doing, that's it. It's high touch with the A's and B's to close them out. And then it's talking to the Met database. And that approach is not about, okay, Bob, it's April. You said you were going to list and buy a new home in April. Y'all still thinking that way? Do you have concerns about the coronavirus? Let's talk. What's on your mind? We still going to do this or not? That's the approach with the A's and B's. But with the rest of your Met database, the conversation is different. Hey, it's Gene, buddy. How you doing? How is everybody? Nobody's sick, are they? Nobody's got the virus? Good. Anybody lose a job? Is there anybody I can help in your family, your friends, your coworkers? You know somebody that needs help. Maybe an elderly person who doesn't want to go out might need food delivery. Let me help you, buddy. Who can I help in your world? And then you switch it to real estate after some chit chat. By the way, I do want you to understand something. I am concerned about people and their real estate. Again, I'm glad nobody in your world has been hurt by this so far, but there are people you might know or run across, family members, friends, maybe coworkers. If they lose a job and it's a dual income family, they might get challenged about real estate, and that's not good. And in the last crash, in the last downturn in '08, we had a lot of people that went into denial about what was happening. And by the time they woke up and tried to do something, they were already into foreclosure. Now, I don't want anybody to go through that. So if you do know somebody who's maybe challenged financially and maybe has a concern about paying their mortgage, let me talk to them. I want to just let them know what their options are and that they can get prepared if they need to take choices that they might not take now, but they understand their choices and their options. So let me help people you know that are like that. And now we're back talking about building your pipeline, right? So these activities are what I think you need to be focused on. And it boils down to a time block that 8 to 9 or 9:30 every day, you're on with your A's and your B's, either converting them or moving them to a later date. You know, you're getting them listed, you're getting them looking at property online, you're getting the contracts done. Around 9:30, you move into your MET calls, and those are the care calls, and those are the help people calls. And all of those calls, you should be talking about the app and downloading the app and say, look, it might be a friend or a coworker, it might be you, but I want you to click on the link and download the app. And our gift to you right now to help you out is you can go and compare your homeowner's insurance, and you might be able to save hundreds of dollars a year on that. And then if you have a mortgage and the rate's up in the 4.5%, 5% or higher, you can check out on your mortgage, no cost, no obligation, see what a refi would do on your monthly payment. And it won't cost you anything, no points, no charges, and you might even get some money. So we want you to do that, and that'll help save you some money. So you need to be pushing the app out and just use those 2 simple value propositions to get them to take that app and load it up. When this virus passes through, then you're going to regroup. Your restaurants open back up, and the shops are all open up. The stores, the malls are open up. People are going to feel better. They're going to feel more confident. And some people are going to be thinking about real estate who weren't thinking about real estate. And you need to be ready to attack the market with vigor. And you should already have a pipeline of people who moved from April, May, or June to June, July, August, and they just want to wait till things return. And you need to have it all built up. You need to be ready to go. And at that point, you need to look at your pipeline then that you've built over the next 2 to 3 months, and you need to look at the market, and then you need to determine what your new business plan or your new 30, 60, 90 looks like, your 135.
Right, exactly. You know, you think about, I was looking through here, I was trying to mute everybody because I think I've like one person that's not muted. You think about this whole, like, you know, foreclosures, there's a hold on foreclosures and all this. So for these care calls that you're talking about, right, for your future pipeline, there's a lot of like misinformation out there, right? Like, oh, great, so I cannot pay my mortgage for 90 days or whatever, and it is just going to be forgiven. Well, that's not the case, right? Forbearance is not forgiveness, right? And so I think it's our agent's job too to understand enough about that to be like, there's going to be solutions, but that's not money that's forgiven. So if you can pay, you know, honestly, it's just, I think it's the value add that you bring to people, isn't it? It's like people are scared, they don't know what's going on. The more value you can give them, the better, right?
Yep. And I think collateral material has a lot to do with this.
Absolutely.
So you should be sending collateral material out. And I'm talking about simple tear sheets, just pieces that describe what's going on. Can I pull up a share now?
Yeah, you should be able to, because I have you as co-host.
I'll do a simple little share.
Okay.
This is some of the collateral material that we're using right now. A virtual home buying program. It just tells them one little tear sheet. Here's how the virtual home buying program works. There's another one next to it. It's a different take on the same thing. We have how to move safely, how to literally move safely during the world of the coronavirus. I think if you don't have this collateral material, if you don't have this stuff in your toolkit, then you're going to be challenged to get as much response as you could get. In other words, if you're going to only prospect, you're not going to get as many leads as if you do marketing as well as prospecting.
Right.
So each one of these would be a drip I would send out to the consumers, your Met database. And then when you call them, you'll be asking them, by the way, did you get the piece I sent you? Yada, yada, yada. So here's one: when you can do open houses, realize that open houses in most places are only going to be virtual right now. But when things start to open up, we will be back doing physical open houses, but people will still be afraid of the virus. So you need to be thinking about how to do opens where you are going to still be worried about the virus.
Yeah.
And then tips if you're a seller about house showings, tips if you're a buyer. I assume y'all all have some of this material or material like this.
We do, guys. Just so everybody knows, we have a whole COVID-19 section in that database, online.com, that you can use to send to clients. Yes.
So yeah, so I would definitely be using that material and sending it out as your part of your drip campaign. And I would also send out every 7 days, I would send out a real estate report card in the world of COVID-19, real estate and COVID-19. And if people are on the fence about buying or selling, the one thing they need to see more than anything is every 7 days, there are new listings, there are properties under contract, and there are closings. And when they see from you every 7 days, there's movement in the market, there's movement in the market, there's movement in the market. It's no longer a question of, can we sell our home right now? Now they know they can sell their home. Now the question is, well, can we do it safely? And we're back to the collateral material. And do you have a written strategy of how you help people move during the time of the virus? And we're doing it. We sold a property yesterday, multiple offers. One of them hadn't seen the house at all, and they made the offer subject to a final walkthrough upon contract approval. And that's the way we're trying to move a lot of our consumers, is you're going to get one showing, and it's after your contract's been accepted. And then you can say yes or no to it. I think you got to do heavy videos right now, and you're never going back from that. You're going to be needing to do videos, whether it's Matterport or virtual tours or just a video off your cell phone. You're going to need to do videos, and you're going to need to put them on YouTube and Instagram. And you're never going to go back from that, because consumers are going to eat this up.
Oh, yeah.
And this will be the new standard. You know, we all did business, Melanie, like this in January. And now we're all having to do total digital, total virtual. And when everything settles down, we're going to move to this. You're going to be less digital, but still more digital than most of you have ever been. And there are two reasons. Consumers like it.
Yep.
And it'll save you time, because the consumers who want to do the digital home buying and selling experience will actually save you a great deal of time. Does that matter? That matters hugely. That means you can go and take more market share with that time, and you'll have less overhead, literally less overhead. So
hey, you just said, can I stop you just for a second? Because you just said a lot of things very quickly, and I know that's just how you roll, right? But I want to make sure people don't miss this, because what we're talking about right now is virtual selling. And you talked about things you can do, and I know you all have talked to Sunny. I know Sunny's on the call. Sunny and I were doing a session last week, and they were showing me the pictures from their listing from Matterport, right? And I had not ever seen that product before. And
that's a heck of a product.
It's a beautiful, if those of you who don't know what Matterport is, I mean, you can either buy the camera, or you can work with a photographer that does that. And they do the whole 3D of the property, you know, level by level. And it's really cool. And so that it gives the consumer that experience that they actually are walking through the property, right?
Absolutely.
And so Matterport, and then you said one other one. What was the other one?
Well, just the traditional virtual tour, which is not the same thing as a video.
Sure. Yeah.
Video, the power of the video is the agent can walk through and demonstrate the house. And that's
Right.
a different kind of tool than
Right.
a virtual tour.
Yes.
So, but any of those, the point is you need video.
You do need video. And Jean, we had one, Casey's on the call too, and Casey Dalby sent me a example of what they did, and they went outside of the home, and her and her business partner Robin, and they did a funny video, and then what they did is they took that interior tour, which actually wasn't video, it was actually like a virtual tour, but they then overlaid as if they were walking through it, so they made it look like a video, right? Sure. And so it's like, and she called that virtual selling, and I think that was brilliant. But like you said, the consumers, it's easy for them, it's time, saves us a lot of time. And I think we're such voyeurs anyway. Like the consumer, they need as much information as they can get. And yet houses are still selling.
Voyeurs, are you back talking about dirty pictures on this program?
There we go again. I knew it. Exactly. And here I thought I had the control, and I got one person I can't mute. So there you go. I'm going to get better at these Zooms each time, right? So, okay, yeah. So let's talk more about virtual selling, because right now we're in Austin. We're really advising our people not to do personal showings at all with their clients, right? And to just minimize that contact, because I don't know where you are in Florida, but we're at that real crucial point where every 3 days it's going, 2 weeks ago we had 2, and now we're hundreds, and it just keeps magnifying. So now's really the time for everybody to still take a stand digitally, and then the board of realtors for Austin sent something out last week that made it look like it was a green light for everybody. It was very disturbing, because that's not what the message was, but it sure made it look like it, right? And so you have a lot of irresponsible people out there too. So I think the faster, Melanie's take is, the faster we nip this in the bud, the faster we're back to business, right? It's that flattening of the curve kind of thing. So the more virtual we can do, the more we're serving our people, and the more we're going to be able to still continue doing real estate. How is it happening for you, and how do you see all that?
No, it's the same thing, but the whole point of risk is to understand risk at a high level, meaning everybody has risk. Real estate agents, every time they get in their car with a buyer and drive around, you have huge risk.
True.
You get in a wreck, that buyer gets injured or worse, killed, you got a big fat lawsuit staring at you in the face. Just huge.
Yeah.
If I assume in your community right now, are people still able to go down to Whole Foods and buy food?
Yes.
And they can go to a drugstore, Walgreens, CVS, and go inside and buy stuff?
Yeah.
I could easily argue there's probably less risk with an agent taking a couple to walk into a house, and they have gloves on, and they go through the whole house, and they exit, they take the gloves off, they sanitize their hands, they make sure they wear a mask the whole time so they're not touching their face. There's probably less risk doing that than going to Whole Foods where there's 70 people there shopping.
Yeah. Well, they're minimizing that. There's a line, and they it's controlled, but I hear what you're saying.
It doesn't matter. The viruses are airborne. This thing about 6 feet is only partially accurate. If you're around a lot of people, someone can sneeze who has it, and it'll go 100 feet through the air. So, the science is getting clearer and clearer about this. I'm not saying anything in particular other than to keep risk in perspective. Right?
Absolutely.
So there is risk, and you need to mitigate the risk. That's the whole point. Take strategic CDC guidelines and mitigate risk for clients.
Right.
We don't encourage any agents to do anything they're not comfortable with, and we certainly don't encourage buyers or sellers to do anything they're not comfortable with. But we have this reality. There's some people that are scared to death and aren't going to do anything, and there's some that are dying to buy a house this week. Now, the agent has to make up a mind, where do you sit in the middle of this? Where do you sit? And our opinion is there is mitigation that can actually protect you. So our buyer agents, if they want to take a buyer, the buyer drives in their own car, the buyer brings their own gloves. We will go to the house. They'll stay in their car until the agent has the house open. The agent will make sure with their own gloves on that all the doors are open, all the lights are on. The buyers are told to go through with their gloves on and don't touch anything and get back in your car. and then you go home and I'll go home and we'll get online and we'll talk about the offer.
Yeah.
So we're mitigating it. And anyone who's not comfortable with that, I don't want them to do it.
Right.
But I have
sure.
people that want to do it.
Right.
And that's their decision.
Right. Right.
So having said all that, I think if you go to the shift book on page 38, the easiest way to think about this is in the shift book on page 38, it discusses the 6 competencies, the core competencies of a business. And each one of those, except for the last one is manage the money, but each one of those, Melanie, you need a digital solution. So number 1 is lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. And you need to have a digital solution to that, meaning what is your lead generation plan online? And right now, I think the main focus there is literally going to be campaigns through command, and particularly focusing on getting videos on YouTube and Instagram. And I know I'm harping on that, but there is so much, people don't want to sit home and read text. They want to watch videos about real estate.
That's
and
right.
They want to see real estate information on videos. So it's not just property tours, it's you breaking down your presentations into components and recording 2 to 2.5 minute bites. How to price your home to sell. Get your home ready to sell, 35 tips. What to expect when you have an appraisal. What to do about the inspection. All of these little things that we always go through and discuss with buyers and sellers, you need to break the components down, script them out, practice it, and then record it, and it'll be the best you've ever delivered it. And then you're going to turn that into a channel on YouTube where you have property views and you have real estate information. And that is literally what people are searching for. How do I sell my house with the coronavirus? Enter.
Yeah.
And you should have a video that says how we can sell your home and protect you with COVID-19 or the coronavirus. You literally will come up at the top of the search, and that person will watch your video. And the reality is agents have been behind the ball on this kind of categorically. Some agents are ahead of the curve, but most are behind. And right now, I think a lot of you might know this, 10 days ago, YouTube came out and said, there are so many people watching videos that we are no longer streaming any high definition videos at all. Everything is in standard definition because we simply can't handle the bandwidth.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear that. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
believe
when
it.
that many people are watching videos on YouTube, there's that many more of a different generation on Instagram.
Yeah.
And if you're not playing that game, I'm telling you, that is the game right now. That's the wheelhouse. So short answer is videos on all your listings are mandatory right now. And when we have a buyer who wants to see a property and they have 35 pictures but no video, we immediately ask the agent, would you please have your seller use their smartphone and record a video, send it to you, send it to us. It's either that or we might have to show the property. Your seller will be safer if we can either move forward or say no based on the video. We need the video.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to touch base on what you'd said about the YouTube channel. I love that. But like, look at your screen, look at my screen. Like you can do these on Zoom. You could record yourself on
Absolutely.
Zoom very professionally and have these, you know, what to do during COVID-19 for this, you know, and have those little 2-minute videos, and those are great touches. I love that idea, but I think a lot of people want to do that and they think, okay, well, I can't really go out, but look, you could have your home studio right here and be bringing so much value to your people about what would I do with a normal buyer seller. I love that idea. That's a good one.
Well, thank you so much. Here's the reality of what's going on. Change. When you look at E to P, where you're stuck at a ceiling of 100 homes a year and you've been stuck there for 2 years and you want to get to 200 homes. We all know that the process for that is to focus on what you want, to consider what the options are, to choose the model for the option you want, and then identify the systems that make up that model, and then get it done and have accountability. But that process of doing that requires an agent to do something very simple, and everybody has to do it. And that is, there'll be something you're doing you have to do more of. There's something you're doing you have to stop doing. Stop. Hard stop. Just stop.
Listen to that. Listen to that.
And then there's something you're not doing, you need to add. Now that's what change is all about. It's usually more of something, eliminating something, and adding something you're not doing. And as you keep growing, you keep going through that. Best example, simple example, my wife and I both did buyers and sellers for several years, and there's a point where we decided, you know what, if I focused on just sellers, I'd be happier because I didn't like buyers. Imagine that. But we'd also, if we blew up our listing inventory, it would blow up our business. So I was already doing buyers and sellers. So I had to do more sellers. I had to do more seller appointments, which I was already doing, but I needed a lot more of them. And the way I did that was I stopped all buyers, stopped it. No more buyer appointments. It was a hard stop, no more buyer appointments. And I had to add something that I wasn't doing. And what I added was, for the first time, working FSBOs and expireds. Never did them.
Yeah.
Now where we are right now, Melanie, everybody's had to stop something forced on them. You had to stop being on the street. You're not out there with buyers and sellers. You're not doing face-to-face consultations. It's stopped. And what you should do more of that you're already doing is talk to people. You need to be on the phone or on the email or on the text communicating with, again, your pipeline and your entire Met database at a very high level right now. You should be having more communications than you've ever had with those people. You need to be all over that. I mean, it's just huge. And then you need to add something. And the something you need to add is finally getting off the dime and adopting command and throwing videos, get all in on technology. And that's really where I think agents are at right now. And change is difficult, but this is forced on you. And if you're sitting around and you're not adopting command and getting the app out and talking about the benefits of the mortgage and the iBuy program, we're the only one with an iBuy program left anymore.
I know, everybody else is shut down.
I know it. All these people have quit. We're still here. Who's got the best real estate company in town? I mean,
That's right.
So if you're not going through all that and adopting command, when you get back to normal, you'll be too busy to adopt it. So this is a window of opportunity that's been thrust on us.
Right.
Get off the dime and get on command and adopt everything and walk away from all that other technology.
Yeah.
We're literally in the middle of doing this right now. Our admin team is spending 2 to 3 hours a day on nothing but moving everything onto command. Everything.
What's that going to save you? What's that going to save your spend? When you guys did your tech audit with your team, what's that going to save you guys? Besides time, logging into different.
It's embarrassing. About 46,000 just on internet lead generation.
Wow.
I know.
Because y'all been too busy, right?
Too busy. Nobody's got the time. We're working on it. We're getting there. We should be there in, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. We'll be there. We'll migrate over. And now it's done. It's over. You know, we're pulling the plug on everything. You know,
Gene, you might have just saved somebody's salary by doing that.
Oh, I'm very aware of that. But at another level, I might have saved the money, but I might reinvest the money in a better ROI.
There you go.
And I know there's a lot of talk about saving money, and I'm 100% behind that. Cut all your expenses, cut. Personally, business, cut. But some agents who have the profitability correct, in other words, they have 35, 40% profit margin. The whole point of profit is to reinvest in your business or invest in a dividend payment for yourself to get out of debt and buy real estate, right?
Right.
But some people need to really think hard about this opportunity to take big market share. And we have 24,000 people on Boomtown Drip that haven't responded to emails or calls if we have their phone number. But they're on the drip and they don't opt out. And they periodically get active and start looking at property. And we all automatically raises a flag and we jump on them and say, we see you're looking around again. Can we help you? Are you interested in buying a home? Dead silence. They don't respond to us, right? But we got 26,000 of them. We have 5,800 past clients now.
Wow.
You know what that means? That means we have 118 people a week having a deed anniversary date.
Wow.
118 a week. Conversion rates of 6% residential deed turnovers, meaning every week we've got at least 6 to 8 people who are going to move every week. What's the problem? We don't have the time to call all of them.
That's right.
There's too many. So my point I'm getting at is we may turn around and take that money and invest it in a telemarketer, a very specific telemarketer, and OSA who's only going to make outbound. And in addition to that, we have a general Met database of another 2,000. So we've got a lot of people we could simply start calling, I believe, and generate a lot of business.
No doubt about that. What would you say to somebody that has maybe doesn't have all that you have? Because that's huge opportunity, and this is a real gift for our top people that do have that, because we have a lot of top performers. I know I've thrown this number to you, but just in the South office we had 37 people do 20 million or more last year. We have big numbers, right?
That's sweet.
So it's sweet. It makes me so happy. What about the guy that just barely capped, right? What about them? If they're like, how can they, in your opinion, take this time to utilize it to get from actually in this shift from 2 to 4 to 6 million?
Well, I can tell you exactly what to do. I truly believe we have been moving into command, like I said, and one of the first things we did was go to the Facebook marketing campaigns. And, we routinely are generating leads on any new listing. We've generated leads on advertising for no-cost loans. We've tried it with insurance, and our lead cost is around $1.30 to $1.40 per lead. And when I say lead, I mean registered lead, people who filled out a form and given us their information. Now, you can't ignore that. That is about as cheap a lead flow as you could possibly get. So, it's not unusual.
What'd you say, $1 what?
$1.32 is our average right now, but we're not unique. I'm hearing that from a lot of people around the country, including there in Austin.
Yeah, so
that lead flow cost is under $2 a lead. So you can post an ad and put a budget cap on $10 a week, and you can be $3 or $4 in, literally $3 or $4 in, and have 2 or 3 registered leads already. So I would do a low dollar Facebook ad campaign, and the only other thing I would add to that is I would be all over the video. I mean, video is, I know from some of the people I'm talking to, video is explosively generating leads right now because so many people are sitting home. And if you were driving messages to your Met database, check out my new video on the COVID-19 virus and the impact on real estate. Your videos will be lighting up. People will be watching your videos like crazy. Now, why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing that? Period. Learn how to refi at no cost. Compare your mortgage. These are all videos you ought to be emailing out. Watch my video on lowering your cost on insurance as much as 30% at no cost, no risk. Click here, watch my video. You need to be popping video. So for that agent you just talked about, these are all very low cost or zero cost strategies.
Love it.
That's what you ought to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what I heard from you is you said everybody needs to stop something, do more of something, and add something else, right?
That's right.
And I love that. You said everybody had to stop being out on the street because of the world just happened, right? This pandemic. We need to do more talking to people and communicating higher and more effectively than we've ever done before. And then you need to add finally getting figured out in command and all the tools and knowing what those are for you and mail videos. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Because you have the time. You have the time. It's been forced. It's been forced. The good news, your competitors are in the same boat, and most of them aren't going to do anything with their time, and you should be all over it.
Yeah.
And I literally think it boils down to a time block where you spend 3 hours in the morning on the phone with your A's and B's, closing out your A's and B pipeline, and then another hour and a half rebuilding your pipeline on the fall and the winter, right? Your pipeline, looking for who's moving, and then lunch hits, and I think you should then spend 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon on adopting command running campaigns, doing videos, and focusing on that. And all of that you can do from your home. All of it.
I love
You need to
it.
be doing it.
I
And
love
you should
it.
have a time block. I'm going to spend
Yep.
an hour and a half doing this, an hour and a half doing this. I'm going to take a break. Then by the way, when you take a break and lunch, go outside, walk around, get some fresh air, eat
Yeah.
your lunch outside, unless it gets really hot, and then go back inside. and then work on command and your technology. Because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
That's right.
Period.
That's so true. That's so true. Jean, I'm going to, I know I said it only till 12. Do you have a couple more minutes so I could do some Q&A, or do you have to run to your next one?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to.
No, what? Okay, she sandbagged me. What she sent me said till the bottom of the hour.
Well, we're hitting 12.
It's 11 to 12:30.
Okay, but and then I said 12:30 on my invite, right? So you like how I did that, Jean?
I like it. I like it.
Okay, dear. Well, okay, I'm going to open it up to you guys. Please, one at a time, unmute yourself if you have a question. We'll just do a little Q&A for like 10 minutes, and then we will wrap up with if you've got a buyer seller match and birthday. So who has a question for the fabulous Jean Rivers, who has already brought us so much value? I have like 4 pages of notes already. Questions? And this is the time where I want you guys to show off how smart you are to him and all the amazing people I'm in business
They've already got plenty to do right now.
Melanie,
I
I
know.
got one for you.
Hey, go ahead, Brad.
Gene,
Hey, Brad.
first of all, thanks for coming on with us today. My question is I've seen some realtors out there and advertising, mortgage people, pretty much every business advertising. Business is a normal, trying to let people know. I don't think it's normal, and we're not going through anything that's a normal. But my question is when do you and your team start to market without being an ambulance chaser on the people that have lost their jobs? When do you, and I know that you start to make those phone calls to your sphere, and I'm doing that every day.
Yeah.
And, but when do you start with class marketing to people that have been hit hard by this?
I don't think you have to be in people's face, and I don't know that there's a set answer to that. A big issue is the economy and where it stands when we're finally, quote, normalizing. And I literally mean that in terms of when restaurants are open again, when we can have people going to movie theaters again, when you can have events again of 100 or 200 people. When that starts to happen, where's the economy at that point? Because until that happens, you guys know this, you lost South by Southwest. How much money was lost in Austin, Texas? Until you can have meetings at the convention center again, you're going to struggle financially, period.
Yeah.
So, and every month you struggle, Brad, is another small business that's out of business, and there are no more jobs, right? So it just multiplies over time. So until we know that, I can't tell you when you're going to do that, but there will be a point where the economy starts to get back on its feet, things are open, and if there are enough people in trouble, then you start to market to it. And it's not because we're ambulance chasing, Brad, it's because people will need help. And a lot of them, again, in the last collapse, waited too long before they did anything. And that's dumb. They just need to go ahead and get some consulting and do it. I think the thing to watch, Brad, if you want to watch something, start watching your NOD list. When notice of delinquencies start to increase, almost everywhere in the country, a foreclosure doesn't happen until they're given or sent a notice of intent to foreclose. But before that can happen, they have to get a notice of delinquency. And when they get a notice of delinquency, it's normally 60 to 90 days before they can serve a notice of intent to foreclose. And I know we have the forbearance, and I know we have all of that. So a lot of this is up in the air, but the point is still going to be the same, that when the NOD lists start to go up, you've got people now that are going to end up in foreclosure or bankruptcy, worse, if somebody doesn't help them get out of that mortgage. And that point, Brad, you could easily go after the NOD list, which is what we did, and that's very effective.
Yeah, that is so true. And you know, just to piggyback on that, Brad, when we started, when I started real estate in Reno, that was when the big crash happened, right? And the NODs would be lined up at the title company on every hallway. And Gene, I'm sure it was the same in Florida, right? And
Yeah.
and I believed that actually the value of the real estate agent came back then because people were scared, just like people are scared now. They're afraid. So it's completely opposite of, I think, in my perspective, completely opposite of being an ambulance chaser. These people need our help,
Yeah.
and they're scared. So I think you bring a lot of value to people actually now in times like this more than ever.
Yeah.
All right, another question.
Brad, if
Go
that
ahead.
happens and you work NOD list, our approach is very simple. It's very direct. I'm sure you're aware that you've been sent a notice of delinquency. You might want to talk about what your options are. I'm here to help you. Give me a call. It's very simple. And people freak out when they get that. A lot of people get in denial. They just don't make their payments and they just keep acting like nothing's going to happen. All of a sudden they get that
That's right.
notice and now they're freaking out.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Linda, where can we get the notice of default? Is it from the title company, or Gene, where do you get them from?
Well, the notice of delinquency, you either have to buy a list and this is literally community by community. There is no rule on this. Some are public records, some aren't, some are difficult to find, but you can buy lists and they're cheap.
Okay.
The title companies, yes, that's where you go.
Okay, yeah, and we can send that out too. We'll post that. I know in Nevada it was public information, so.
Well, yeah, they have to record it because again, they can't do a notice of intent to foreclose until they've sent that letter, and then that is tracked for 90 days. So they have to record that they sent it.
Right. Okay. Question. Another question. This is your opportunity, guys, to ask one of the smartest people in real estate.
Oh, you're so sweet. Is there anything in the chat box?
Let's see.
16 comments.
Well, they were asked about the notice of.
Okay, we just answered that one.
A notice of default. So notice of delinquency. Yeah, like Jason Abrams. Yeah, go ahead, Julio.
Hey, I know you addressed this a little earlier, but not as many people were on. And on the loan, when you can get a loan through a lot of my, I help a lot of the Spanish community here, and a lot of them are the ID numbers. There's not a Social Security, but the banks use it as Social Security. So I'm having to switch from the private investor that usually grants those kind of loans to more of a federal credit union, more of a bank that can do those loans. So do you have any, I know maybe you're not familiar with those, but do you have anything like that you can think of that you can recommend on what moves should I do? And as far as FHA loans and the regular loans that are going out there, what other things should we be trying to advise our clients, our buyers, to go through?
Keller Mortgage.
Well, yeah, Keller Mortgage would be number one. And then the second
fine.
would be, if it's going to be non-conforming, you need a local non-conforming lender, which is normally going to be a commercial bank, and they can make loans outside of conforming rules. And the challenge is they normally require a higher down payment and they'll charge a higher interest rate. But if people want to buy a home, and if it's cheaper to own than rent, even with the higher payment, then they should do it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions about virtual selling or building the pipeline or anything we talked about today? This is your opportunity. Don't be shy. You have to unmute yourself.
That's okay.
I'm looking through the list.
I think they want to get to marketing properties.
Okay. Okay, then you know what? I'm just going to say then, Gene, this brought so much value. I got a ton of value. You gave us a gift today. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie.
I appreciate you. Okay, I'm just going to wrap it up real quick here if you don't mind. I'm going to share my screen again.
Sure.
Okay, guys. There he is, the man, the legend. Okay, Q&A. All right, buyer seller match, guys. Anybody have a coming soon? I know it's new times, but anybody have a property that, I think we'll hold off on the buyers, but anybody have a listing coming soon or that they just launched that they think this room needs to know about? We'll make it really quick.
Yes.
Go for it.
251 Comanche. It is over in Lake Thunderbird, like 10 minutes from downtown Bastrop, maybe less than that for downtown Smithville. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, very, very new or nice mobile home that looks like a house on the inside.
Okay, so it's a mobile home, so it's more like the land being sold kind of thing?
Yes, it's really about a 1/4 of an acre, but it's in a really nice little rolling hill kind of area, very treed, very grass, very green, and it's next to or in the area neighborhood of Lake Thunderbird,
Cool.
kind of by Busher State Park.
Okay, awesome. Price on that?
We're going $179,900 and taking any offers.
Okay, awesome. Anyone else?
Hi, it's Donna McKay. How are you?
Hey, Donna, good.
Good. So I have a listing and I'm looking for the photographer on the other screen right now for, it's in Pflugerville in Highland Park. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,898 square feet. Beautiful front porch, big backyard, fenced in with the vinyl fencing, and it is going to be priced at $278,000. It is beautiful. Just
Beautiful,
absolutely
awesome.
Convenient to everything.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Pflugerville's booming. Anyone else?
Melanie, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Michelle.
Hey, I just want to let y'all know my listing at 4706 Highland Terrace in Highland Park West is now vacant. The tenant is out. The house has been sanitized. So please, if you have any buyers that are interested in seeing a vacant property, mine is now vacant and much easier to show. No complications there with.
Yeah. Okay, size and price?
It's 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,394 square feet, and it's on a 1/2 acre lot, and it's offered at $950,000.
All right. Let's find a buyer for that, huh? Anyone else?
Yeah,
But
Melanie,
before you
this is
go-
Lauren Cowan, I have something coming up.
Lauren, go for it.
Hey, so I have a 3-bedroom house in Avery Ranch on 11013 Los Comancheros. Going to be coming up here in the next couple of weeks. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, about 2,150 square feet. 2-story, does have an extra bonus loft upstairs. Very well maintained, great location to the Brushy Creek Trail. Just walk down the street and you can access it completely. Also really close to the elementary school there. It is on the LISD, Leander ISD side. And a brand new beautiful deck on the back. Buyers are under contract already on an inventory home, so they're going to be ready to go. And we're going to be listing at $340,000.
$340,000. Okay, awesome. Any other coming soons?
We have one, Jewel Realty Group,
Okay, go for it.
7701 Creston. It's going to be listed for $498,000. It's a 3-3. It has a pool. Our sellers bought it in June, and they're moving back to Kansas City. And they've done a ton of work. Every single room has been repainted, popcorn scraped, lots and lots of upgrades done to the home. So if you have any buyers, it's hitting the market tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Brandy. Now remember, all these you can post on the forum on Facebook, or you can post on the KW Pocket forum, and the whole city will see them too. Any of these coming soon, so that we can get that information out. Any other coming soons anybody has? Right. Anybody? Going once, going twice. Okay, cool. Then we're going to finish up. Do I have any April birthdays on the call? Because it would not be complete to finish our meeting without saying happy birthday to you. Rob, okay, I saw one hand raised. Okay. Who is that? I can't see who you are. Unmute yourself and tell us. Who raised their hand? Was it Robert? That's not Robert.
Yeah,
oh, Robert Saxon, it's your birthday this month?
yeah.
Oh, are you the only one?
Happy birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, we like to finish. For those of you shy that are not stepping up to say who you are, happy birthday. Join me in singing happy birthday, and then let's just go take territory. Let's go stop doing, like, we can't control the market's been stopped. We're going to do more, but we're going to communicate more than ever with everybody in our database, and we're going to add by being masters of command, getting in campaigns, getting consumer on everybody, saving them money on Keller Covered and Keller Mortgage. Guys, I did a class on that last week, by the way, and I put the link. I show you everywhere how to go to do all that. And there's a landing page where it can be customized to you. It's all at your fingertips. So please, everybody unmute yourself and help sing happy birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Come on.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Robert, and everyone else who has an April birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. GeneRiversYourPhone.com. Thanks for being on the call, you guys. Go make it happen.
Have a great day.
Okay, make it happen, guys. Mwah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the call, everybody.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Thank you.